That's her first one. And her second one is her accepting second objective is to like learn to let go of Nathan and to accept death for what it is. And her third objective is to understand and help everyone around her because that's the way she is. She's a caregiver. Her obstacles are she fears Nathan's death and she fears its imminence and it's something that she can't control and she can't fix, which kind of scares her. And another obstacle is her dependence on Nathan's presence. Like she constantly needs him there because without Nathan, she feels like Nathan is her definition, and without Nathan, she has no definition. Her other obstacle is that she needs to help herself. She neglects herself a lot, and hmm, I don't know why I wrote this. I put that. Oh, I put she desires to be alone constantly, which means that she desires like she doesn't want anyone else around Nathan, like protective mother bird syndrome. Um, she's kind of a basket case. And then her really source of sanity is Odetta, who is my elder character. And Odetta is used for like express. I use her for expressing experience. She's kind of like the self-fulfilling prophecy. Like the Greeks have these prophets who would like prophesy something, and then it happens anyway. Like in Oedipus the King. Um, and then I also use her because she accepts death and for what it is. And her objectives are to enlighten the others, to ease grief and to lessen pain. And her obstacles are the others are kind of ignorant. There's this whole cloud of sorrow that she can't get rid of, and everyone is kind of stubborn and blind, as is she. And her means of that is she tries to bring joy to everyone's everyday life. She tries to help people, and she tries to visit Marlinda, and she tries to advise, and she tries to share her experience, but then it's kind of like an Achilles heel because no one really listens. I mean, people listen to her, but they don't. If someone tells you you need to deal with Nathan's, your son's death, are you going to really listen to them? Um, the way the show has changed is that, like, the beginning, I was planning on it starting in, like, in the kitchen. Blank stage except for Nathan. Nathan's up there in his room. And Nathan's room is like the highest point of the entire set. And then in front of Nathan's room is the living room. Over to house left is the kitchen. And then there's a front porch area in front of the living room. I don't plan on there being any walls because I just don't like the idea of walls because I don't like the idea of wallpaper or wall color. Um, but you never know. Nathan's room might be the only room with a wall. Anyway, so it starts out like a with like a blank slate, and um, we see Marlinda walk into the kitchen. I plan on adding a lot of humor into the show because it just needs it. And she's going to do something humorous, like drop a play. She's going to have like her own scene without words, basically. That demonstrates her forgetfulness, her the difficulty she's having doing this all by herself, like cooking and taking care of Nathan, and watching the house and answering the phone, and all the while like maybe the phone's ringing and Odetta's trying to and then the doorbell rings and Odetta's at the door and Marlinda can't, find time to answer it, and she drops a pan on her foot, and she says the word shit. And then Nathan's, up there, and like he needs something or something, and she's like totally going berserk. So she decides just to finally, fuck whatever the hell she's cooking and answer the door. And that's how Odetta comes in. And Odetta and I'm planning on Odetta and Marlinda having not a fight scene, but definitely a tennis match back and forth about, Odetta's seeing what Marlinda's going through, and she's physically standing there, with groceries she's gotten from Marlinda, watching Marlinda try to save the meal that she's just ruined. And Odetta, is she brings up the idea that you need a hospice worker, and or you need a nurse to help you. And Marlinda's like, I don't need a nurse. Bob, Nathan's gonna be okay. Blah blah blah. And this is kind of the point where I do some expository, like where I do some prior instances. Ibsen does that a lot, and this is Odetta is the one who brings up prior instances, she brings up Bobby. She brings up Marlinda's problems. She brings up like Marlinda missing AA, Marlinda having to mortgage the house, and she basically brings up the problems Marlinda's been having reluctantly. And there's kind of like that wall between them two. Like they're very good friends, but Marlinda and Odetta kind of have this thing because Odetta's pushing on her and working on her in several different ways, trying to get her to accept Nathan's death, and also trying to get her to let other people shelf some of the responsibility. And she needs to learn how to redefine herself when Nathan is gone. Um, and so they have that tussle, and Odetta eventually reveals that this young man named James is coming over, and he's very nice, and he's new to our AA group. He's just moved to town. He's about to celebrate his first birthday in AA, and I just want you to meet him because he's part of our AA group, and you've been gone for 2 months. And she, Odetta's like, not Odetta, Marlinda's like, okay, great, I have to meet another person. Meanwhile, I'm doing all this, and she's like, and Odessa's like, well, don't worry, we'll order Chinese or something, we'll be fine. I know you've ruined dinner, and so Marlinda's like, okay, whatever. Any more surprises? And Odetta's like, well, actually, we were talking about the hospice worker. I hired one, and she's coming over tonight. She's coming over when James is. Melinda has a freak out moment, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have guests." And she's like, "It's okay, we're having Chinese. It's fine." And then ding dong with the doorbell, and James comes in, and they introduce James, and James is this, tall, austere, I am James, Edward Fleur, and it's gonna be a wonderful character. Um, James introduces himself professionally, not personally, of course. And you kind of get the feeling Odetta's standing there, like watching something that she's put together come to life. And then the doorbell rings, and our little James has his little if he's the black, he has his little white. And his little white is his opposite is Maria Claire. Maria Claire is this ambitious, you know, grit your teeth. I'm just out of med school. I'm going to save the world kind of girl. And she's very perky, and she's very ready for action, and she has like this, she's ready to meet Nathan. She meets Marlinda, and she's like, well, I want to cut the bull crap. I want to meet Nathan. And Marlinda's like, whoa there, stallion. You're not meeting Nathan right now. I got to make sure you're not a psychopath first, and you're not just gonna like inject him with morphine or something. And so we have this wonderful clashing of these four characters slash meeting and meddling and whatever. And they discuss the dinner options or whatever. And I'm gonna find a reason to get Odetta and Marlinda out of the room. In order to leave, have a scene with just James and Maria Claire. Because I really need a scene that early on where they conflict with each other, and where they both kind of explore this new environment without the other two around them. Um, Odetta might be there to explain some about Nathan. I need someone to. No, she's not gonna be there to explain it. I changed my mind. And so